When you're building something, you got to have a really good foundation to sustain over time, or else that stuff's going to crumble and fall. I mean, there's a lot of risk that goes into that stuff too, right? So every little step that you do, there's this risk that you take on, and it's scary. I don't think that everybody should be building a big team, but I think, yeah, 2 people, you can start a team. I think there's too much around, hey, I'm going to go build a team. And I don't think people understand what that means, truly. I did bring in a very important person, and she basically took over me reaching out to the agent saying, hey, this isn't happening. You need to do this. Team leaders should not be doing that stuff. I know at first you may have to play many roles, but eventually you want to get out of that role, because I found that this was a great setup. No longer am I going to the agent. She goes in, she takes that stuff over. Again, this is all part of building your team though. And if they don't have it, it's a rocky foundation. You've got to get that stuff in place, whether it's you or someone else. 5 years ago, it was me going, well, what am I going to do? And I did it. And it's just a matter of doing it and not giving up.
You're listening to the #1 real estate podcast in the world, where we talk with real estate professionals all across North America about their wins, losses, lessons, stories, help you win in your local market today. My name is Cody from Sheridan Street. I'm joined with Nick of the Real Estate Sales Academy. My man, you have a new background, and that's exciting. For everyone listening on iTunes and Spotify, it's very exciting that, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. Subscribe to us. We want more subscribers. I want more people to subscribe to this damn show.
We put a load of work into it. Like Friday from 12 to 5, all we do is sit in front of the computer and talk.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's like my Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and some Saturdays and Sundays. But yes, go subscribe on YouTube.
And iTunes and Spotify and all the other places. But Vic, how are you? And please leave us a damn review already. Like, I would love that.
And subscribe, or do all the things that you're supposed to do to be giving us the social, what do they call it? Social equity?
Social proof. The social equity, the social proof, the brand equity, all the things that all the marketers talk about.
Yeah.
Vikram, what's happening, man? Like, you're in Medellin. This is my last week in Medellin. I'm actually I'm going to Nashville with Sharon next week. So that's
wait, you just asked me what I was doing, and then you just started talking about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I learned from the best. I learned from you.
Dude, I am a great teacher.
You are a great teacher.
Well, so what are you doing in Nashville, since you were already talking about you?
Yeah, I'll start with me. But I'm going to a conference. So there's like a little mastermind pop-up event that me and Sharon are going to with a bunch of other people that we've met over the last couple of years. And we're going to deep dive our P&Ls. We're going to learn a little bit from people that are doing some really, really cool things in the coaching space. So pumped about that. Pumped to see a bunch of people I haven't seen in a long time from like the Talkie More days. So pumped to do that. And I leave next Wednesday. I fly into Nashville and we'll go back to Canada for a bit. But how about you, man? How are things? You're staying in Medellin. You just moved spots. I know that you're in a new space. Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Dude, new space is sick. It's super, super gangster, like super nice. Really quiet, unlike the last place. Like, fucking hated that last place. It was so loud. Huge, beautiful kitchen, like a 18-foot island. I think I could probably 14-foot island. So I've been just cooking up a storm and enjoying it. And big bedrooms and hyperbaric chambers, and you know me, bro. Just trying to stay alive forever. And
trying to biohack your way to 110.
I mean, I think 110 I got just from the way I eat. I'm trying to go to like 160.
Oh, damn.
Because then I could say, like, right now, like, I'm still like kid. Like, I feel like I'm 28 right now. So when I'm like 80, I'll feel like I'm 41. And when I'm like 120, I'll feel like 60. So I just feel like there's no reason why we shouldn't live a long life. I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't be living healthy, long lives, considering all the information about health is readily available. So that's just my thoughts on it. But
you have a lot of thoughts. Yeah. What do you know? I don't know. You tell me what you know. But we have a really special.
We really want to get into that.
Hey, we have a very special. We're not going to get into it because we're going to intro our guest right now. We have a very, very We have an extremely special guest. Somebody that has done very special. Somebody that's done a lot, extremely special. Somebody that has done a lot in the San Diego market and has built a pretty big team. And we have Serri, and not Serri as in not Serri as in Apple Serri, but Serri Rowell. We could have, that would actually be a really interesting guest, Serri from Apple.
Bro,
But
you know what's funny is like I'm surprised by saying her name. My phone hasn't like started recording voice memos.
hey Serri, how's it going? That's
Oh, you just got my iPad going now.
It'll go.
everyone listening to this podcast will be like, damn it, my phone went off. But why don't you give everyone that doesn't know a high level overview on kind of who you are, where in the world, maybe talk a little bit about your military background, just kind of how you got into real estate. I'm really curious.
All right. Hey guys. So I'm Hey Serri. Ironically enough, we actually had our team name called the Hey Serri Home Team at one point. And I hired a marketing gal that came in and looked up the Apple information on the back end, and we would be sued if we used Hey Serri in any way, shape, or form. So we were no longer the Hey Serri Home Team. We would be sued. No, so my name's Serri. I'm on the 5. I run a large team here in San Diego. We're just topping over 90. And obviously I like things in multiple numbers. And so, yeah, I've been in the real estate industry for over 20 years and just started this team about 5 years ago. And the team name now is called The Brand. So it's The Brand Realty. And we're just having fun. Like I'm at a point in my life where we're jamming. I love it. I love real estate and I'm having a good time.
So you started this team 5 years ago and you're at 92 people, 15 or so in the back end, helping out, supporting the team. And I don't know, I'm not great at math, but like 75-ish on the sales front.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So we've grown pretty fast, I think. Yeah, comparably. Yeah.
What would you say is one of the reasons why you're successful? And when we were talking in the green room, you mentioned a couple of things about teams falling apart and things of that nature. So what are some of the things that you attribute your rapid success with growing a team to?
I feel like one of my superpowers is I'm kind of one of those like hybrid agents where I live heavily on the sell side. I mean, obviously I sold homes and I can still sell homes, right? I'm a real estate agent also. I'm actually a broker in California and in Utah. I can sell homes, but I'm actually really good at the operational side of things. And I think, no offense to team leaders out there, but I think a lot of team leaders were real estate agents at one point, most of them, and they don't have that kind of infrastructure personally. So they hire people, which is great. And I've hired a lot of people, but I can go in there and I think I know my systems in the back end probably better than most team leads do. So I think that's a superpower that I have.
So what are some of the, I'm going to hop in here. What are some of the, yeah, you're welcome. What are some of the things that you are currently doing that you think make a superpower for a team leader? Like when you look at the operational things, like what are some of the metrics and the numbers that because obviously you've chatted with other team leads, and we know, like me and Vikram have this conversation consistently around how a lot of teams right now in this market, because we were in a momentum market, we're now in a skills market. A lot of team leads are disbanding their teams, and they're disbanding them because they don't necessarily have the operational skills or the operational mindset of what it takes. Like, what are some of the numbers that you are watching that are allowing you to continue to grow and continue to, build your business in a skills-based market?
I mean, honestly, I think you have to watch all your numbers, but we have a lot of like back end. So we use a couple of things. So we have Sisu, right? So we have Sisu and we have Monday.com, and we have boards that we have built out, and we literally have metrics going into these boards from our CRM, right? So CRM goes over to Sisu, Monday talks to Follow Boss, talks to Monday, like all these things. I think in our back end, we have 150 zaps running, right? Like all this stuff is talking to each other. And so basically, you name it, we got it and we can pull it up. And then we use Slack, and we have Slack channels where we have reporting going in. So we know when someone changes a lead program, everybody that's supposed to get notified gets notified. And then they have tasks that start filling out and they have to do all this stuff. I mean, it's high level stuff, but all this stuff is a build, right? So here's the thing. When you're building a team, because everybody says, I'm building a team. I built a team. Does that mean that you just got Zillow Flex and you just brought in a bunch of agents and you maybe got Follow Boss and you just give them a Follow Boss seat and then the phone rings? Like, I mean, because I know a lot of teams that do that.
Right.
I'm sure you guys have talked to them too, right? And so what? So is that really building a team? No, that's just kind of smoke and mirrors to me.
So when you discuss about your systems on the back end, one of the things that I would talk to my old coach before I retired selling real estate. I was like, I wish there was one system that did everything. And he's like, Vikram, it doesn't exist because it's just insanity, right? Like there's just so many things, and what you've built is a really strong foundation, is what it sounds like.
Right. So I call it our house of bricks. Okay, so for example, you guys, Three Little Pigs. We all know the Three Little Pigs, right? Three Little Pigs. You have what? The sticks. What is it? The sticks, the bricks. What's the other one? Anyways, the only one that holds when the big bad wolf comes around is which one? The house of bricks, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, it's the same thing when you're building something, right? When you're building something, you got to have a really good foundation to sustain over time, or else that stuff's going to crumble and fall. So I see it no differently when you're building, and it's a business. Like this is a true business that we every month look at our P&L. I know some people that look at it every week, and kudos to them, but we do it every month. We have quarterlies, like we look at this stuff. And I actually let my team know too where we are. So like Smokey the Bear, forest fire, like high or low forest fire, like we let them know if we're like high danger zone or if we're like in the green, so you got to know all that stuff, and you need to share just enough with your team. I feel just enough so they know what's going on.
I love the openness, the vulnerability of it, because I think that keeps people engaged. And I think that's really powerful. So for the team leaders out there, or for anybody who's thinking about starting a team, it's daunting to think about what you just said. You just rattled off like 6 really, really intense systems like Sisu, Zapier, Slack, Monday. Like these are all really big platforms individually, but when you try to sync them all together, how do you envision like how everything works? Because I think the normal real estate agent that becomes a team leader because they're doing really well and they bring people on, how do they like structure it mentally? Because I don't think that's that they don't want it. I just don't think they can see it. So
well, and that's what I'm saying, so what sets, and I'm not saying there's not other team leaders out there that are doing what I'm doing or even better, right? I know there are. However, I believe that most team leads, because I do talk to a lot of them as well, they don't have that. They just, and it's fine. They have other superpowers. Like I can draw stick figures. That's about as far as I can go to draw. And, somebody else can go paint a photo. Great, right? You know what I mean? Like that truly is, I can literally look at something, and my team knows this, and go, oh, well then I start to almost go into trance, and I'm like, well, this happens to this, and then that, and then I'm like, I'm going to go build it. And so we're at the point where I could go in and build it. But now what I've done is I've hired people, or we go out and, pop on Upwork or Fiverr and say, hey, just go build this app or whatever. Could I go in there and try to figure it out? Yeah, because I'm super tenacious with that stuff. But those kind of team leaders, they need to go find that person. They need to go on Upwork or Fiverr and have someone do it, whatever it is, but they need to have the tenacity to go do that. And if they don't have it, again, it's a rocky foundation. You've got to get that stuff in place, whether it's you or someone else.
How do you identify whether you have it or not? Like when you were early on doing sales, and maybe when it was just in the beginning and you were building the team and you were thinking about, like, because obviously you didn't get to 90 agents overnight. There was building blocks and you built the foundation, but was there a moment in which you knew that you had it? And how does somebody know that they potentially have it and they should build a team? Because I've had tons of conversations with Sharon about this, where he essentially says to me, he's like, look, Cody, the vast majority of these agents should never have a team. They should look at like just hiring some virtual assistants. How do you, like, when you're speaking with other team leads, how do team leads or how do agents identify whether they should be a single agent with support staff or they should actually build a team?
I honestly don't know the clear answer on that. I mean, I only know what I know. I feel like anyone can build a team. I feel like there's a difference so define a team. A team can be two people, right? It could be me with a TC. So technically, even before I started this team, I had a team, right? I don't think that there's any like right answer on all of that stuff. I really don't. I think it's just an individual of what their strengths are and what they can do best. Do I think that most agents can go out and build a team like I have? I don't. I don't think that everybody has that, like I said, tenacity to go out there and do that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of risk that goes into that stuff too, right? So every little step that you do, there's this risk that you take on, and it's scary. You know, all that stuff is scary, but I just don't think, I don't think that everybody should be building a big team, but I think, yeah, two people, you can start a team, big or small or whatever. And, you know, kudos to them on that too. I think that there's too much around, hey, I'm going to go build a team. And it just, I don't think people understand what that means. Truly. They don't understand. Now, again, I have 5 kids, right? I built a team already. Like I look at it no differently. It's like we have standards that we have to have in place. So my kids have to do certain things. Like my team has the same thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a lot of buzz at the big conferences and all the events and, you know, get out of production and build a team, right? So that's what people strive for. But there's a lot of agents that build teams that are very they're very unsuccessful. They're not profitable. I know teams that are doing 7 figures in GCI. And when you go to a conference, like, yeah, we did 180 units. We did, you know, $400 million. We made $36 trillion in commissions. And it's like, what did you take home at the end of the day? It's like $75,000. So it feels great to have your name in big, bright lights everywhere. But when you go to the bank, the banker's like, bro, you ain't got no deposits. You ain't got no withdrawals.
And I guess my question on that, what do they want? You know, like, here's the thing. Some people actually would rather maybe have the bright lights and the big numbers and all that, and they're fine and they're happy. It really, that's why I'm saying there's no one size fits all. Like, of course you want to make money and be profitable, but what does that team leader want out of this? And I wouldn't say that they don't want to make a lot of money. They definitely don't want to lose money. But I've actually talked to team leads that just want to have a good time and they're having fun doing it and stuff like that. Of course, they're a little reckless at that point if they're not making that much money. I think there's some recklessness in all that. But I think everybody has their own kind of journey with building a team in real estate. There's, like I said, no one size fits all. It's really cool to watch. I know teams of 5 that make almost more money than I do with stuff, right? With a team of 5. Yeah. But that doesn't sound fun to me. A team of 5 does not sound fun to me at all, you guys. Like, well, I have a team of kids, but real estate team, that does not sound fun to me. I'd be so bored. Right?
What do you think is one of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome in the last 12 months as a team leader, as the market has started shifting and sales have slowed down?
So get this. So a year ago today, well, not today, but a year ago, almost today, we were at a team of about 35, 40.
Oh.
So that's an important factor in where we are now.
So you doubled
team
size. So you doubled your team size while other teams are cutting their teams by half or 3 quarters.
Yes. So I looked at my the leadership in my team and I said, you know what? The market's changing and we need more agents. Like, we need more agents as the market's changing. We need to, we went through our P&L and we cut a few things out, right? Like, we did make some cuts and some things that weren't necessary. But I looked at them and I said, we need more. However, more agents does not necessarily equal more transactions. And so it was a frenzy for us for probably the first 4 or 5 months of just like, bringing in agents. And it was, there was months where we were bringing in 10 to 12 agents a month, right? The thing is with me, I like to go and then we build and we fix as we go. We plug the holes really quick as we go. And so we started to implement, we have lead programs that we didn't have before. So we have like core traditional lead, we have agents that they fit into these lead programs. We created all that within the last year. How can I keep my top performers from feeling like new people are coming in and they're going to take their leads and all that? How can I let my new people coming in know that this is how you can get there? So we had all this that was built out. We built a mentor program, and we basically let our agents run their own business from within. So we have some standards, but it's like their own business model that they can help and mentor. We created an independent program. So we have some agents that can come onto the team and not necessarily take leads. And then we're really heavy referral partners. So we have referral partner programs, and I have team leads that were created that run those programs for me. All that happened within the last year, you guys, like all that stuff. So again, back to, hey, I'm seeing things not working. How do I fix this? And I'm relentless. I don't stop until this stuff is done and fixed. And then we create these programs. It's honestly pretty phenomenal what we've built on the back end in the last year to accommodate the growth that we've had.
You mentioned that you build and obviously things break, especially when you're going at like a double size. Like our agency's doubled in size over the last year too, and there's been a lot of things that have broken.
I love when things break.
Yeah.
I love
so
it.
how do you, because I think a lot of agents, a lot of team leads that I speak to, they hold on to a lot of control of things, and they're never able to hold their team accountable. They're never able to kind of steer the ship. Like when things are breaking, how do you personally internalize that? How do you deal with it, and how do you push yourself forward?
How do I personally deal with it, or like how do I with the agents and things like that? I mean, I think it's a dance with your agents to make sure. Well, first of all, okay, here's another thing. I did bring in a very important person the first of this year, and she basically took over me reaching out to the agent saying, hey, this isn't happening. You need to do this. Team leaders should not be doing that stuff. I know at first you may have to play many roles, but eventually you want to get out of that role because you want them to see you as their biggest, like I have on my Slack channel, my name, your biggest fan, right? Like I want to be their biggest fan, their biggest cheerleader. I want to be there at that level. And so if I'm going in and I'm telling them what they're not doing and, hey, you guys need to do this. So I hired somebody this year to do that. And in return, she ironically has her master's in psychology, and she's my therapist and my coach. You know what I mean? So she takes care of me. So I found that this was a great setup. No longer am I going to the agents. I have somebody that now handles that. She calls it her velvet hammer. She goes in and she takes that stuff over. Again, this is all part of building your team though, right? Last year I didn't have it. So I think what happens, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, is that I'm talking high level here. And I'm talking all these systems and doing all this stuff. However, you guys all have to remember listening to this. 5 years ago, it was me sitting in a broom closet, right? Going, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I did it. And it's just a matter of doing it and not giving up, right? That's it. It's that simple. It's just do it. Don't give up. That's it.
Why did you want to?
I don't know. For me, so 16 years in, I was very buyer heavy. So imagine that, really buyer heavy. I was exhausted, right? And I had so much opportunity coming in that I was like, I literally can't service these guys anymore. I'm going to go sell, I don't know, little tchotchkes on Etsy. I don't know what I was going to do. I could not, I was like, I literally can't go show another house, right? I just was fried. And I just, sat down one day, had a couple of the right people come into my life at the right time, because I was looking for it, right? Whenever you're looking for something and you put it out there, things will come as long as your eyes are open to it. And I just said, I need to start building this team. And that's what I did. So there's no magic pill to this stuff. There's no magic, there's no magic. And you know what? I remember I actually talked to some guy that had a team at the time. His has since dissolved because I don't think it was built on a good foundation. But I said, where did you start? And he's like, at my desk in my house. Like, that's where my team started. I thought literally there was this magic book that would tell me everything of what to do and how to do it and all this stuff, you know what I mean? Right? It's literally just a build, and you're going to go forward and you're going to go backwards and you're going to go forward and backwards. I can guarantee you guys have me on a podcast next year. I'll tell you more things, right? That's just the way it is. We'll go forward and we'll go back. We'll break it and we'll fix it. And we'll keep figuring it out. Yeah.
Serri, I just want to say thank you, like kind of wrapping up here. If somebody were to want to reach out to you and say, for example, maybe it's they want to learn a little bit more about what you're doing in the San Diego area, maybe it's an agent-to-agent referral for your team, where is kind of the best place that we can send them in order to kind of learn a little bit more about your team and learn a little bit more about you and kind of like what you're building in that area?
Yeah. So I'm a big Instagram girl. I love Instagram. So it's the real Serri for Instagram. And then our team is the brand. So it's the Brand Realty team on Instagram, but you can find us on there. So yeah.
Serri, from the bottom of my heart, and I know I think I can echo the sentiment for Vikram as well, ignoring the props. Just want to say thank you for just sharing so much wisdom and so much value around, team building, around just mindset of building a team, building on foundation. I just want to say thank you for sharing with us today. And I want to say thank you for tuning into another episode of the RE Agent Podcast. We'll see you soon.